Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I will teach you how to make a chest pocket. Take a look and see how clean and polished it is made. Now let's get started. As you can see, the materials are prepared and ready to assemble. And because the design of our pocket is semi-curve, it must be ironed before joining. Same as I do. After connecting, rub to flatten and divide the seam allowance, and sew the edge. The same on the other side. Reduce the width of the seam allowance. The same on the other side. After ironing to make it flat like I did. Reduce the width of your pocket if you think is a bit wide. Measure the correct pocket placement and mark with a line. The lock stitch in the corner of the pocket must be strong, so that it does not break when there is slashing. The line should follow the seam of the pocket, so that it does not tilt when finished. Next, let's put the pair of pocket bags. From the opposite corner, extend a little and at least about 1/4 there. The next seam will start, and the distance of the opening is at least 1/2 inch. Put a thread on the opposite corner, like I do, and tie it so it can't be pulled out. At the very end of your white fusible cloth, put a white thread. Avoid the white thread to deviate from the pocket itself. Just like the other side, tie it so it doesn't get pulled out. Cutting in the middle and slashing each corner. The same goes for the other end. Also apply slashing. Make sure that the slashing done properly for a good result. This part is a bit difficult to see in the video. Please watch it carefully and I will explain it to you. There at the corner, because this slashing is done. Then right at the corner, start a seam directly above the corner, put a white thread. You need to be careful before you sew. Make sure everything is in order, so that no seam gets stuck under it. As you can see, you need to follow the white thread, because that is the correct size of the chest pocket. This is the part that is very difficult, but if you follow my method and get used to it, you will ignore it in the long run. When the end of the pocket and the thread are opposite, you can put a pin on it so that it won't move anymore before it is stitched. You have seen the clean look and well. Reduce the width seam allowance and leave 1/4. And fold the end as you can see and lock stitch. As you can see, that's how you should lock the end. After the end is locked, fold it and lock it with a hand stitch. You only need to lock stitch at 1/4. After the lock is slashing. After slashing, open to split the seam allowance and do a lock stitch. The lock stitch is done by hand, not the machine, so it can be done properly. Check if this is done properly before doing the following. And find the corner of the pocket and chalk line. And then slashing it. And cut the seam allowance up to the very edge of the pocket. And insert the pocket bag inside. Remove the white thread when done. As you can see, it's well done. Okay, next we will do it on the other side. Okay, let's start sewing at that corner. Insert the needle right through the slashing end and lock it before passing it through. This is very difficult for the beginners. But it's okay, you can learn too, just practice is the key there. Just make sure everything is in order before you stitch it. You have to hit the white thread because that's his size. Do everything with patience and pull the fabrics. That may get stuck when you sew it. Even though I admit that it's a difficult way. Although it's difficult, I can choose this way because it's clean, polished and beautiful. As you can see, I used pin to prevent it from deviating from the center of the thread. Lock the end properly. Reduce the seam allowance and leave only 1/4. Just copy what we did earlier. The method is also the same, and just lock it with a hand stitch to apply properly. And slashing to open, and so you can reduce the thickness of the seam allowance. Open the seam allowance and attach the pocket bag and lock it with a hand stitch to fix it and prevent the seam from wrinkling. Peek at the end of the pocket and draw. Slashing to open the seam allowance and reduce it so that it is not thick. Then rub to flatten and besting for easy ironing. As you can see, it's flat. I have ironed it so you can see the result. Now remove the besting. It is necessary to put a besting first, before locking it with hand stitching. Even if you only make a fusible suit, you should still practice hand stitching on the delicate parts of the suit. And since most of the time the people who use it are decent people, it is only necessary to improve its performance. And since the besting is done, it's locked with hand stitching. It's up to you what kind of hand stitch to do. Remove the besting after finishing so you don't miss it. Line the pocket bag according to the proportion of the size of your pocket. Draw 1/4 from the edge of the pocket, and the same on the other side. The purpose of that is to hide the hanging stitches inside, and to keep the chest pockets clean. And the same on the other side. Lock it by 1/4. Okay, our pocket is running out. Just turn it over for a moment and we'll be besting the pocket bag. Put a besting so that it does not deviate and prevent the unevenness of its pocket bag. And then pass it through the machine around. And remove the best. And reduce the seam allowance. Okay guys, we're almost done. Before that, I just want to thank you for watching and see you in the next video tutorial.